Once again, thank you very much to the DOJ family for coming over to the Senate to present your budget. Before we begin, I am of receipt of a letter from Chief Public Attorney Dr. Presida Acosta of the Public Attorney's Office, and apparently that she cannot be present today to present her budget because of an official travel or official activity outside of the Philippines. As a matter of procedure and tradition, we always require the head of office to present their budget. This has been a practice for many years and for many budget briefings. In fact, a lot of head of offices of different agencies had to cancel their trips in order to present their budget personally. And this is a requirement that is very strictly observed here in the Senate. So with that, we will defer the budget of the Public Attorney's Office today. We will request from them a date that is convenient and a date that will enable Dr. Acosta to come here to the Senate to present her budget personally. So with that in mind, we can excuse the Public Attorney's Office at your option, at your decision. We can excuse them today in this budget briefing, and we will coordinate with the PAO for a date that is mutually convenient for both the Senate and the PAO. So with that, let me recognize the presence of Senator Dante Marcoleta. So with that, we can already proceed with the presentation of the budget of the Department of Justice and all of its attached agencies. So we recognize Secretary Vida.
Magandang umaga po, Senator Gatchalian at Senator Dante Marcoleta. Magandang umaga po. Sa ngalan po ng Kagawaran ng Katarungan, narito po ang mga iba't ibang opisyales ng ating kagawaran at ng mga attached agencies para ipresenta ang aming budget for year 2026. This is based on the President's budget or the National Expenditure Program, and as passed by the HGAB po from the House of Representatives. With me today are my undersecretaries and assistant secretaries. Also present are the key officials from the DOJ proper and heads of attached agencies under the DOJ to provide answers or details on any query that the members of the committee may raise. In this regard, may I proceed and may I ask the Chair to please do acknowledge Assistant Secretary Jermar, who will be making the presentation.
We recognize ASEC Jermar.
Magandang umaga po, with the permission of the Chair. Primarily, it is the Department's mandate to uphold the rule of law by serving as the principal law agency of the government. Under the 1987 Administrative Code, the DOJ serves as the legal counsel and prosecutorial arm of the government and administers the government criminal justice system by investigating crimes, prosecuting offenders, and administering the correctional system. It also implements law on the admission and stay of aliens, citizenship, and land titling system. Further, the department provides free legal services to indigent persons. First, in the next few slides, we will highlight some of the major accomplishments of the department. As shown in this slide, the department, through the National Prosecution Service, was able to sustain an improving case disposition rate post-pandemic. In November 2023, Department Circular Number 39 was issued prescribing guidelines on the performance measure and evaluation of the NPS. Thus, a new formula was adopted for the case disposition rate being equal to the resolved cases as a percentage of the difference between total caseload and those pending within 120 days or those not yet due for resolution. In addition, based on the total caseload of 430,638, 26,017 or 6.04% remain pending by year-end of 2024. However, out of the total pending of 22,273 are still within the reglementary period of 120 days, thus not yet due for resolution. This implies that only 3,744 or 14.39% are the complaints pending beyond the maximum of 120 days reglementary period. In terms of addressing case backlog, this slide shows a significant reduction in the number of complaints pending beyond 120 days maximum reglementary period by 13,051, that is from 16,795 in 2020 down to 3,744 in 2024. This translates to a 77.71 decrease in backlogs over the 5-year period. More particularly, with the strengthened performance management and sustained implementation of case decongestion initiatives starting in 2016, the case backlog in 2024 were significantly reduced to 14.39% from 27.09% in 2020. With regard to court disposition, the department was able to sustain high prosecution rate over the 5-year period. At present, the prosecution success rate measures the proportion of conviction relative to the sum of conviction and acquittals. The prosecution success rate excludes other court dispositions such as dismissal, archivals, successful mediation, etc. As shown in this slide, from 2020 to 2024, the PSR increased from 89.39% to 90.14% respectively. This reflects the improving effort and proactive stance of the department on investigation and case build-up of court cases through the years. For the prosecution sub-program, the National Prosecution Service was able to resolve 99.08% of the criminal complaints handled in 2024. Even in the first semester of CY 2025, the NPS consistently performed high in disposing complaints of 96.55%, which is expected to increase further by year-end. Our Witness Protection Sub-Program, on the other hand, processed and acted upon all applications for witness coverage in 2024 and in the first semester of this year. Further, through our Special Enforcement and Protection Unit, we were able to train at least 11,390 law enforcers and service providers who handled complaints involving women and children, trafficking, and cybercrime offenses in 2024. And as of first semester of this year, the total trained is recorded at 2,347 targets participant. More importantly, the sub-program recorded a high prosecution rate on monitored offenses from merely 80.53% in 2024 to 95.38% in the first sem of 2025. For our correction program, the Board of Pardons and Parole was able to act 99.96% of inmate records, applications, and petitions relative to parole and executive clemency in 2024, which is maintained at 99.97% in first semester of 2025. Meanwhile, the department, through our Board of Claims, has acted upon 100% of victim compensation claims both in 2024 and in the first semester of 2025. In addition of the various requests for legal services pending within prescribed period, the legal staff of the department has acted upon 94.26% in 2024 and higher at 97.15% in the first sem of 2025. For our law enforcement services, the NBI was able to conduct more than 50,000 investigations and processed more than 6.7 million application for criminal records clearance in the previous year. This year, as of first semester, they were able to attain about half of the last year's accomplishment. On the other hand, the Bureau of Immigration processed at least 97.70% of international airport passengers coming in and out of the country within 45 seconds upon primary inspection in 2024, which is slightly increased at 99.53% as of first sem of this year. The BI also processed 100% of immigration and registration document within 6 days from receipt both in 2024 and first semester of 2026. For our correction agencies, the Bureau of Correction managed a daily average of 53,617 inmates under its custody in 2024, which increased by 998 inmates as of first semester of this year. Out of the inmate population, around 97% participated in various reformation rehabilitation program of the Bucor both in 2024 and first sem of 2025. In addition, the Parole and Probation Administration was able to ensure the 98.88% of its supervised offender in 2024 were compliant to their probation and parole condition. Further, 97.31% of the client of PPA in the same year participated in the rehabilitation program. As of first semester of this year, the PPA maintained its highest performance in this indicator. For our legal services agencies, the Public Attorney's Office secured favorable judgment on 83.63% of its cases handled in 2024 and was able to achieve a high alternative dispute resolution rate of 91.41% in the same year. For the first half of this SEM, the PAO continues to record high performance result. The Office of the Solicitor General acted on 99% of the cases it handled in 2024 and resolved all the petitions for naturalization in the same year. And as of first semester of this year, the OSG continuously attained high ratings. Similarly, the Office of the Government Corporate Counsel has achieved 100% accomplishment rate on the pleadings filed within the prescribed period both in 2024 and the first sem of 2025. In the case of the Land Registration Authority, the agency has issued 93.62% titles within the prescribed period from receipt of complete documents in 2024. Meanwhile, the Presidential Commission on Good Government reported around 2.24 billion of recovered amount and proceeds from the administration of fully taken over sequestered asset in 2024. And as of first sem, this year naman, the PCGG accomplished more than half of said figure, amounting to 1.3 billion. And lastly, the alternative dispute resolution was able to train 2,090 ADR practitioners and implementers in 2024 and has acted upon all applications for accreditation and approval of ADR training. And as of first sem of 2025, the OADR has already trained 945 ADR practitioners and implementers. Overall, the whole department remains steadfast and optimistic in sustaining, if not surpassing, its performance result. Sir, may I now proceed with the budget proposal of the department?
Yes, go ahead,
Okay.
please.
For the total 2026 program budget of the Department of Justice, including its constituent and attached agencies, amounts to 43.653 billion as compared with FY 2025 of 42.189 billion. As you may note, the DOJ budget for 2026 is only 0.64% or less than 1% of the total national budget for 2026 of 6.793 trillion. On the overall, about 64.29% of these is for personal services, including salaries and other compensation of employees. Only 24.73% is provided for MOOE, while 10.98% is allocated for capital outlay.